Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/Am I the Bort Hole? I have my cat with me today, and she is going to help us judge some big old gaping bort holes. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Hello. Hello. What are you doing? Hello. Are we gonna record a video? Oh, the biscuits! The biscuits! Oh my goodness! So, first post, posted by Standard Kick 9789. Am I the bort hole for telling my wife to get a job if she wants to subsidise the kids? Up until our youngest kid graduated from university, I worked crazy hours out of town to pay for everything. I worked 6 weeks on of 12-hour days. 6 weeks of 12-hour days back to back? Crazy. Then I would get 3 weeks off. I mean, no, to be fair, still 12-hour days, 6 weeks back to back, no breaks. Nah. That'd write me off, that would. That works out to 56 hours a week if you average it out. I've been doing that since I was 35 years old. It allowed my wife to stay at home and take care of the kids in the house. We also used it to pay off our mortgage, as well as buy new cars for cash whenever we needed. I'll describe our budget so you guys can judge. After taxes, we used my take-home pay to pay the mortgage and bills. We then paid the kids' college fund, then into our retirement fund, then we topped off our retirement account, we put money into our emergency fund, then whatever was left we split 50-50. Our tax refund was our vacation fund. Now I'm 55 and I'm tired. My body is beat and I need to slow down. Yeah, I imagine so. Fair play to you. I mean, that is not a shift pattern many people are going to want to do, I must say. Our kids are both through university, both got their degrees and have jobs. I did my part. The company I work for had a job open for an office job. I applied and got it. It's a 9-to-5 city job, 40 hours a week, better hourly rate plus other compensation. However, it is a lot less money without the overtime. I was getting 44 hours a week of overtime. That's huge. Yeah, that, I imagine, really bumped up your wages, to be fair. But we have money in the bank and I have an easy stretch until I retire. My wife, however, is upset. Both kids are struggling. For the record, they live at home rent-free. Oh, were they struggling then? But they want cars and apartments of their own. They can afford that. They just won't be getting luxury cars and huge apartments. Yeah, exactly. They can go it by themselves. Like, tough titties, everyone else has to. We no longer have a mortgage, and my wife and I are both driving vehicles purchased in the last 3 years, still under warranty. Our budget no longer has education funds either. We still have more than we need, and my wife and I each have $1,000 each month to spend however we want. I am saving up for a new garage/shop. My wife has been giving hers to the kids. She is hinting that I should also contribute. Absolutely not. I think she's an idiot for giving hers to them, to be honest with you. They're living at home, rent-free. They could have saved up so much by that point. I think I have contributed enough. I told her to get a job. She is only 46. She can go to work and give them her salary. I still provide housing and food for all of them, so she won't starve or anything. Her and the kids think that I'm being cruel, and one of the little said that I was being lazy by cutting my hours so much. This is my hill to die on. I've done the hard work long enough. I want to enjoy my life. Am I the asshole for telling her to get a job and give them her money? No, not at all. They have all been living on absolute easy street off of the back of the OP, and fair play to them, providing for their family, and making sure the family can have a comfortable life. Now it is time for them to all stand on their own little leggies and get on with it. Like, absolutely not. The OP has done more than enough. I'm pretty certain the wife could have got a job way before now, to be honest, because, normally the wife is the stay-at-home mum in those situations when they can afford to, whilst the kids are younger and childcare is nigh on impossible, because don't get me wrong, I absolutely understand and I get it myself. Childcare is a friggin' nightmare with younger kids, and even kids up until the age that they are legally allowed to, stay in the house by themselves. It's a nightmare. However, I think when the kids are going off to university and what have you probably don't need to be at home all the time, do you, love? If you want in spare cash, go out and earn it. If you want to give the kids money because they can't be asked to look after themselves and seem to think that they're entitled to being able to, have a house and have their cake and eat it, basically, then yeah, you go and do that, but leave the poor Opie alone. He's tired. Let him rest. And the thing is, he's not even like, yeah, I'm just retiring and doing nothing now. He's just scaling back a bit and going into an easier job. So, down in the comments, Aromatic Escape 3706 says, not the boat hole. Your children need to learn to stand on their own 2 feet. How incredibly entitled of them to expect that you continue to fund their lifestyle. What the hell are they using their degrees for? Tell them to grow the hell up and sort their lives out. And then the OP says, one is a teacher and one is a social worker. And then PSI Blaze says, then they get an apartment and a car that a teacher and a social worker can afford. Exactly. Okay, so next post posted by Meowcat123490. Am I the butthole for telling my boyfriend not to come over anymore if he doesn't move in with me? You might be. You might be. Depends. Yeah, we'll read and see. If it's just like a weird control thing of, you need to come and live with me because I want you to, then you might be. So, throwaway account because I don't want my boyfriend finding this. Me, 19-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 19-year-old male, have been together for almost 2 years. 1 year, 10 months. For context, I moved into my 1-bedroom apartment about 6 months ago. I live alone, I pay all my bills alone, and I buy my own groceries. My boyfriend comes over every single day. I'm not just saying that, he is literally there every day. I get home from work and by the time I'm out of the shower, he is at the apartment. I didn't really mind at first because I was excited that he was seeing me every day, because before that he told me that he didn't want to spend a lot of time with me, that it was overwhelming to him. So I was excited and happy that he wanted to be with me. My love language is quality time. Okay, retract my first statement I made when reading the title. I smell a hobosexual. He wants to live there and he does not want to pay. Well, fast forward, I've noticed an increase in my bills. Just last month, my utility bill increased by $70. Whether this was the weather or him, I'm not totally sure. Surely a $70 increase is a lot. But he's been there even when I'm not there. He's taken showers, watched TV. I'm not a huge TV person. And he'll leave the lights on. Not to mention he uses the restroom all the time. Sometimes 3 times. So there's that. And then I'm running out of my groceries faster than I'd like. I buy groceries just enough for me. Every 2 weeks, my pay schedule, I buy a pack of Cokes, 12, and that should last me the entire month as I don't drink a lot of soda. But what do you know? I'm running out in 2 weeks. Why? Well, an example of him drinking all of my sodas would be when we were watching TV. He ordered us a pizza, and while we were eating, he offered to grab me a drink, and I just told him to grab me a water. And he grabbed himself a soda, which I didn't mind since, like I said, I don't drink them often. He drinks the first soda and then he gets up to grab a second. He comes back to the table and drinks the second. I was visibly annoyed but didn't say anything. He then gets up again and walked to the fridge to grab a third. I quickly interrupted him and said, "Nope, no. If you are very thirsty, you can have a water. You are not drinking all the sodas I just bought." To which he responds, "What are you, my mum? No, mate. I am the one who's just bought them. What are you playing at? Get out my fridge." And I respond, "No, but I'm your girlfriend and you didn't buy those. I did. When I want a soda, I want to be able to drink one." And he came to sit down. He was mad. I know this because he does this thing where he clenches his jaw, and he didn't speak to me for a while. After this, I had the realization that he really is just living here without sleeping here. Yeah, and without paying any bills is the main thing. He's eating and drinking all of my food and using my utilities. So I thought carefully of what I wanted to say, and I got the right wording together. When he came over the next day, I brought up the conversation of, "Why didn't you move in with me?" And he just said, "No, I don't want to." And I was like, "What? Why? You basically live here without sleeping here. You are here every day and using all of my things." I know I shouldn't have snapped like that. Is that what you call snapping? Oh, dear sweet summer child. But that just completely threw me off. His reasoning started with, "I want to finish school," which I would completely understand if he was in school. He's not. Oh my God. He missed the deadline to sign up for classes, so he's not enrolled right now, which I reminded him of. His next reason was, "I don't want to live in an apartment, I want to live in a house." So I then said, "We are 19, we aren't established and don't have money put back for a house. You have to be realistic. We can eventually get a house, but an apartment is a part of that step." And then he responded with, "I just don't want to move out. I like having no responsibilities." This was finally the real answer. Yes, it was. He's just told you exactly what he's up to. He likes the freedom of having an apartment. He does not want to pay the bills, so he's using you as a way to have the best of both worlds. At the OP's expense, might I add. I told him that since he didn't want to move out and help me, then he can't come over every day, and we'll have to hang out at his house more often. It's been a week since this conversation, and he's still coming over every day, and I don't know what to do. Change the locks. I'm assuming he's got a key, considering when the OP was in a shower, he just appeared. If that happens, and someone's coming to your house that you don't want there, change the locks. I love his company, but I can't afford it. I still can't really wrap my head around his answer, and I'm trying to respect it, but part of me wonders if it was someone else, would he want to live with them? Would he support them? Or does he just not see a future with me? I'm not sure what to do. Any advice is appreciated. Oh, OP, my love, no. He wouldn't do it with anyone else either, because he is very clearly just wants to have somewhere to go and chill that's not his parents' house and, pretend like he has his own place without paying for one. He is using you, and he will do it with everybody else as well. Edit, I put it into paragraphs. I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't know how this worked. I'm so glad I found this after it had been edited and put into paragraphs. My brain is still like someone's had the lid off and shit in it after having my migraine like yesterday. So yeah, it's all fun and games at the moment, trying to concentrate. Like, I find I get very like slurred speech after a few, like for the 2 or 3 or 4 even sometimes days after a really bad migraine. And yeah, it's fun. It's great fun trying to read things out loud right now. Everyone is asking about the key. When I made a copy of my key, he was with me and suggested he should have one for emergencies. So I made him a copy too. He also has no responsibilities. What a surprise. His mum pays for his car and gas and clothes. More fool his mum then. No wonder he thinks that this is okay. I'm taking everyone's comments into consideration and it's opening my eyes a lot. I'm going to try to have the conversation again tonight and I'll have an update when we've talked. Update? I'm not sure if I update here or what to do really. We talked. This also just happened, so I'm mentally drained, so I'm sorry if this update isn't the best. I took his key like many of you suggested. Yes, my love! Good on you! I told him that until he learns to call me and ask if he can come over, then he cannot have the key. I also added with that the key is only to be used for emergencies, and I don't feel like he should have it. He then agreed to this also, went on to explain that it feels like we are in two different mindsets. Oh, here we go. Me having an apartment, steady income and responsibilities, and him living at home, no bills, etc. He then started to put the fault on me, saying it was too expensive and I shouldn't have moved out, but I didn't have a choice to move out. It was forced upon me. We argued back and forth about that for a while. He suggested we budget my money. What? What do you mean? He suggested we budget my money? No, how about he gets a job and then he gets an input? How about he gives some money and then he gets an input? Oh my goodness. I love how he's like, oh, we're in two different parts of life. Like, mate, no one's asking you to come around the OP's place all the time, use all their shit, eat all their food, drink all their drinks, use all their hot water. You don't have to do that. You can be in a relationship with someone who's got their own place when you don't want your own place because, you know, you're 19 and, you know, it's quite reasonable to not be ready to move out yet. I do get that. So, like, what's stopping this guy from going, okay, no, I get that. I'll only come round now and then, and I won't use all your stuff like an entitled so-and-so. But I literally don't spend anything other than what I need. I have an interview for a second job tomorrow, so I can start being able to afford things that I want. That's beside the point. It was dumb and felt like a deflection on his end. That's because that's exactly what it was. We fought back and forth some more, and then it eventually ended with me saying that he is a child who isn't wanting to grow up right now, and I don't want that around me forever. I don't know if we're broken up or what is really happening. I assume I'll know more about that tomorrow. Thank you everyone for your support and kind words. It really means a lot and has helped me see things I couldn't see before. I'm glad I reached out on here. So, down in the comments, Brondoma says, take his key away. He can come over when you invite him, not the porthole. And then CST Moore says, I would change the lock. There's no way of knowing if he made himself another copy of your key. And then Wannabe My Dog 1970 says, you don't want to move in with him yet either. He's way too immature. Next post posted by No Reception 8930. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter that she is not going to marry a billionaire? Probably not. No. That's a bit of an unrealistic dream, isn't it? Anyway, why would you want to? I mean, look in the news lately. Look at all the these billionaires have been doing behind closed doors when they thought they would never get caught or outed. Ew, no thank you. I, 47M, have a bit of a problem. I have a daughter, 20F, and my wife is 46F. She isn't my daughter's biological mother, but she has been in her life since she was 13 years old. Her mother and I divorced when she was 12 due to her alcoholism. For about a year now, my daughter has got it in her head that she'll marry a billionaire, and it'll be the only way that she can be happy in this life. I can only speculate that she has got this idea from social media, probably. She's not doing great in school at the moment, and all she talks about is marrying a billionaire. How she thinks she can meet one, what type of house they'll have, and how she'll be in a private jet, etc. And she is trying to take these steps to make this happen, which has me worried. I've found out that she has, for example, spent time in hotel lobbies, bars, having a drink, trying to pick up older guys. Mind you, we do not come from poverty, and she has never experienced financial insecurity, but we are definitely not billionaires. My wife has a brother who is very well off, and my daughter has actively tried to get closer to him and his family in the pursuit of wealth. It got to the point where she ended up sharing selfies from the the family house on social media, and she's now not allowed in there anymore due to a violation of their privacy. She has pulled similar stunts with other friends and family who have even a bit of a more lavish lifestyle. She has also tried to message some of my own work associates who are in a more glamorous position at work than I am, and I had to find out from them after they shared what my daughter had been sending them on LinkedIn, out of all platforms. She had been sending suggestive stuff to them and asked one of them to buy her fancy jewellery. My goodness. My daughter isn't stupid. She's always done well in school, until recently. Her performance is very bad at the moment. Got into a good university and is proficient in multiple languages. She also wrote a book when she was 16 and made it quite successful even. But something has happened that's made her so obsessed with money, and I have no idea what it is. She is temporarily staying with us for some weeks as she's looking for a new apartment, and for the past 4 to 5 days this entire thing has had her so depressed that she hasn't got out of her bed and keeps crying out because she doesn't have a billionaire boyfriend, husband, and has to stay in places that are not as glamorous as she'd like. I'd be like, rude. You are needing to stay in my house and you are crying because it's not glamorous. How rude. She cries like someone has died, and it sounds like an intense grief. Every morning we wake up to her sobbing in her room. Maybe it's time for some serious therapy. This is not a normal way to act. I've tried talking to her and have tried the loving approach of comforting her and telling her that one day she'll find someone who loves her as much as I do. It hasn't been good enough, and she'll say nasty things like, yeah, but he'll probably be broke, so I don't care. I then took a more direct approach and told her that there's only a very tiny fraction of the world's population who are billionaires, and most of them tend to marry each other or are married already, so the statistical odds of this billionaire romance happening for her are practically zero. My wife thought that I was being an asshole by being so direct with her, and that I didn't have to ruin it for her like that. No, she needs bringing back down to earth. She is in a complete la land right now, and clearly it's having a detrimental effect because she's crying as if she's in mourning over all of this. She tried defending her by saying that my daughter is still young and that I should allow her to save her fantasies. She's 20. She should know better by now. But I just don't agree. Everyone can dream. Sure, exactly. I dream daily about having my own cat sanctuary, but my cat sanctuary is full of Sphinx cats. And I just get to look after all these cute little nudie doodies, and it's great and it's amazing, but it's not going to happen, is it? As I certainly don't have the money to open a rescue all the time. But the fact that she has already violated the boundaries of multiple people, and that this situation is getting so on top of her that it's affecting her academic performance, means that something needs to be done. This cannot be healthy in the long term. Plus, her trying to talk to much older men is just dangerous, and I really worry that she's going to end up hurt. Exactly. So, am I the butthole for this approach? No. So, edit, I've reached out to a therapist. I am very glad to hear it. And I'm also going through my daughter's social media at the moment, which is all public. I'm trying to find any glaring red flags that may put her in danger. We'll update later. Thanks everyone for your suggestions, aside from those who just provided a list of ways to marry rich. What happened to love? As someone pointed out, yes, love alone does not pay the bills, but what is so wrong with looking for a partner that has a stable income, doing what they love? Stability is not only found in the riches. Why does this person even have to be incredibly rich? Maybe I'm just being a weird old person here, but I am honestly astounded that this attitude is so common these days. I feel bad for the TikTok generation. Edit update. It hasn't been many hours since my initial post, but I'm honestly trying to process everything, and I think writing this will help me. So it's Sunday, so there's been zero response from the medical professionals I contacted. No updates there. If my daughter wants to go to therapy, I will 100% support it and pay for it. Speaking of, many people here have blamed me for enabling my daughter. I'm not quite sure how to feel about it yet. I have paid for her studies, her rent, and travel in case she wants to go abroad to see a cousin who she is close with, and who I believe is an excellent, wonderful role model. She's a successful woman who I think my daughter should definitely look up to. I do not pay for my daughter's luxuries. She has asked me to get her designer things and trips to places like Monaco previously, and I've told her that she needs to get a job as a tutor or something similar if she wants fancy things, because she needs to understand the value of money. I mean, the best way to teach her the value of money is to make her pay her own rent. I have, however, bought her luxuries like an iPhone, a tablet, a MacBook, but with the condition that she uses them to improve her life, i.e. using them at university to complete assignments. So I have some things to share now that I feel may be relevant. One was that I did a thorough check of her TikTok and Instagram. She had multiple profiles, but she always followed herself, so I managed to find those. And yes, she had reposted some alarming content from various female influencers. A lot of them, surprisingly, were rather misogynistic, just packaged in a glamorous way. Lots of women saying things like, a rich man will choose a poor but skinny waitress instead of an overweight CEO. It's basically alpha male content, but packaged for women instead. That's what it is. She had been actively reposting content of women's shopping hauls of what their rich boyfriends' husbands got them. Lots of stuff about how men cannot love and how women should like to get a rich guy. There are some videos she liked to repost in particular where a woman just screams at her camera, telling her viewers to wake up and stop dating brokies. Just horrible toxic stuff that will rot your brain. She also had posts of her own from expensive restaurants among other places where I can only assume guys had taken her out on dates. And I don't mean a $60 steakhouse. I mean restaurants where they serve 11-course meals that can cost at least $200 per person, as she's not employed. Oh wait, that's not dollars, that's euros. My life! Honestly, like I said, it's like someone's taken the lid off my brain and shat in it. As she's not employed, I know for sure that she's not paying for that herself. She also had a post where she explained, alarmingly, that women who want a handsome guy are trashy, because real high value, as she called it, women go for a man's resources, not looks. It was absolutely bizarre seeing her like that. Then there was something even more alarming. She had written a post that implied that she'd subscribed to some course that is supposed to make her rich and famous. Some content creator club. Basically, as I understood it, she paid €500 out of her savings, the money I had given her, to some Russian creator whose entire online persona revolves around provider men and her glow up. The €100 went to coaching sessions with said creator where she was teaching my daughter the tricks to make money on social media. It sounded like a giant scam, in all honesty. It's because it is. Oh my goodness. The woman seemed rather crappy as well, proudly accepting big amounts of money from desperate girls who wanted to be rich and famous. How do I know this? My daughter has several posts about it that were all set to public, which is no longer the case as I've asked her to make her social media private, which thankfully she agreed to. Anyway, then came the talk. I finally spoke to my daughter and told her that, first and foremost, she's an adult and gets to make adult choices. And whatever she does and whoever she dates is up to her. That said, I told her that I was concerned about her. I tried to gently ask what kind of guys she goes on dates with, and that of course she doesn't have to tell me, but if we can have an open dialogue, I think it would make both of us feel better. She did end up admitting that she goes out with much older guys who are between 30 and 60 years old. Ew. As a dad, as much as I felt grossed out, I wanted her to feel safe to tell me. As if anything ever happened, she can come to me. And not you at 60-year-olds in general, by the way. Just you at them dating a 20-year-old. Ew, ew, ew. I asked her why she's so keen on having a much older rich guy and what that may bring to her life that she doesn't already have. She just mentioned the private jet, shopping trips, a big house. I told her that while those things certainly can be fun, it's not worth risking her autonomy and education for that stuff, particularly because the chance that she'll end up with someone who will financially abuse her is quite high. Well, she sort of just thought that she's too smart to be taken advantage of. Go figure. Have you pointed out she's already been taken financially advantage of by this bloody woman that she's bought this stupid course off? I brought up a lot of bad things that can happen and asked if she had read anything about the e-files. Yeah, exactly. She hadn't. How had she not seen anything about them? It's everywhere. I don't even have social media anymore, and the one that I do have that's attached to this channel, I try and stay off it as much as possible. And even I still see everything because I still, ow, I've just smacked my shelves, because I still use YouTube. I told her that there are numerous reports of women and girls ending up in really bad situations. It went right over her head as well, exactly. And just think, right, the stuff in the e-files that has been released, that's what's been released. There is still so much more that hasn't been released. So I can imagine they've released what they have and the rest is probably worse. And what's been released is bad enough. I then asked why she had been sobbing, if she feels depressed, etc. And she finally broke down in tears again. I asked her if something had happened that she didn't want to tell me about, and she said yes. I froze. I thought of the worst that a dad can think of and contemplated to go and grab a baseball bat. But nope. It was something different. She sobbed for a good 15 minutes without being able to say a word, but I patiently waited until she could. She told me that around a year ago, her and her friends snuck to a party together in one of those fancy hotels. Her friend apparently is also into the whole provider man dating trend. They had fun, had some food and drinks there, and according to my daughter, all the men were only into her friend. And a guy that she had been eyeing for the whole night ended up asking for her friend's number instead. This then repeated multiple times over several months, where her friend would get approached instead of her. Then a little later, the girls found out that there actually was some guy who was a few years older at the university in their program who actually was the son of a multi-millionaire. It became a huge fight between my daughter and her friend, where they began both trying to get the guy. This girl, who my daughter thought was her friend, started then spreading nasty rumours about my daughter, and also had tried sabotaging her weight loss, as my daughter has always struggled with her weight. Her now former friend is now in a serious relationship with this guy, and as a result, my daughter feels like she was robbed of a potentially good future with him. She also said that she feels so jealous all the time of her friend that it's consuming her. I was a bit confused. That was all? I even asked my daughter multiple times that this was all that happened and that no one had ever done anything to her against her consent, but no, that wasn't the case. She even went as far as to tell me that she's not even active, if you know what I mean. Sure, bullying can be traumatic, but my daughter's reaction still seems indicative of something else. I would understand the OP thinking that, but I think if the daughter's very social media minded, and then also this stuff happened with the friend, you stick the two together because social media can send people into huge spirals anyway on its own, then you stick those two things together and then it's kind of culminated into what's happening now. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense. She wants to continue at the university and has told me that she will try again to pass some of the courses that she hasn't passed yet, but doesn't seem to take it as seriously as she probably should. So, all in all, not sure where to go from here. My daughter has thankfully agreed to speak to a therapist, so that's good news. That's all for now. TLDR, daughter is freaking out because she's worried that she won't ever be married to a millionaire. Her social media is alarming, filled with content that I wasn't super happy to see. Wouldn't tell me what's wrong, then finally broke down that it's all because her friend stole a rich guy from her that she had a crush on. Well, do you know what? She's agreed to see a therapist, and I think that is a very good step. Hopefully it helps a lot. So, down in the comments, Alarming Paper 8357 says, your daughter may be smart in some areas, but her emotional IQ is hovering close to 0. Her intrusion on your business associates, etc. shows that she has no idea how people meet and move in the financial realms that she is aiming for. And her glaring attempts at attracting a billionaire is only making it less likely that a wealthy man will come along and snap her up. Most billionaires have extremely good BS detectors and can tell a gold digger from 100 miles away. Truthfully, I think your daughter desperately needs therapy. Her priorities are completely fucked up, and the fact that she's hysterical at the idea of not marrying a wealthy man is disturbing on several levels. By the way, not the boat hole, she's cruising for a bruising, and the way she's headed, someone is going to figure she's easy pickings, use her and dump her hard. And in this case, your wife is wrong. 20-year-old is getting too old for romantic fantasies. At 16, yeah, a girl might fantasize about meeting a prince, etc. But at 20, they should have a better grip on reality. Yeah, exactly. She is going to end up finding herself in an awful spot if she doesn't drop this severely unrealistic idea of what she wants to do with her life. Hopefully the therapy does something. I imagine it's early days, and fingers crossed the therapy helps. I do think it can though, because it does show that there was a trigger point to all this. And again, I don't think the social media usage is helping either. So a decent therapist should be able to help her through all of that. Fingers crossed. I just say good luck to the OP because he's gonna need it. Oh my god, I've been recording for ages. Wow, I've just noticed. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, notifications on, and that is your initiation into the Governor Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Don't forget to leave a comment for Big Al. Bye!